I'm live. Hey, after COVID last week, I'm happy to say I'm alive. Welcome to all of y'all. A happy 4th of July. And for my Canadian friends up north, a belated happy Canada Day to y'all. Y'all do y'all's on July 1st, right? So it's been a long week. Y'all got to start off with the weekend with the celebration. Us down here south of the border, we get to finish it off with the 4th of July celebration. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Let me start off with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love the reality fans out there, love the Big Brother fans, and love all of y'all guys that are here with me tonight. Or I know some folks may be out doing 4th of July kind of stuff. So if you're watching it on a repeat, welcome to you and thank you as well. I absolutely do appreciate it. We're here. We're here. It's Big Brother 24 week. I'm so upset we don't have the cast reveal yet, but at least it's Big Brother week, so we're gonna talk all about that. That brings back so many memories of my season and everything else. I am so happy that I can talk to y'all, and hopefully I've got an hour left in this voice box. For those of you who were here last week, that was a little rough. I'll just throw out my apologies for that. I tried. I gave it everything I had. Don't let me say I didn't try. But for those of you who may not know, I tested positive for COVID. First time in 2.5 years. I finally got caught up to me. But yeah, I tried to do the show on Monday night. My voice was gone. It wasn't having any of it. So we did a little bit of a show, but not too much. But I'm back now, and it won't be stopped. So yeah, I'm feeling much better. Those of you who reached out to me, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. But yeah, now I gotta say this: how upset would I have been if I was getting ready to go back into Big Brother house? You know, we heard all those rumors about coaches coming in and all, and maybe it's true, but not this coach. But what if they had called me and I was going to go back into the house, be a coach for Big Brother, get another chance, and then I tested positive, and they said, "Yeah, sorry, Cliff, you just stick in the house and do your live feed updates." And that would have killed me. So at least I got this. I got it out of the way. So now I'll be able to do all my overnight feed recaps as soon as Big Brother starts, which I'll go ahead and throw that out there before we talk. See who's out here or not. For those of you who aren't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, for those of you who haven't already turned on your notifications, this may be the good week to do so, to start it up. Because with Big Brother starting up Wednesday, live feeds start up Wednesday night. I'm so happy. Live feeds start up Wednesday night, just a few hours after the show premieres, apparently. So I'm going to be doing the live feed updates again this summer. I don't know, between work and staying up all night watching those live feeds, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. A lot of coffee, a whole lot of caffeine, but I am going to be doing that. I may do a little pre-cast assessment tomorrow if they ever give us a cast. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, turn on your notifications, and that way you'll get notified anytime I put anything new out there about Big Brother. And I'm planning to put a little bit out there. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see who all is out here to celebrate 4th of July with me. I got Ma, first one out here. Hey, Ma, welcome aboard again, as always. Marilyn Sutherland, howdy, Marilyn. Ryan 51, Brian, Jake the Snake. I lost my, there it is. Lost my comments there for a second. Jake the Horror Movie Geek. Maureen Carroll, Angie Hug. Hey, Angie, how are you doing? Joshy P, Amanda. Gosh, having a hard time with it today, guys. Amanda Lowe. Hey, Amanda. Bing Bong. I hear XX Typhoid. JP. Hey, JP. Paula Scar. Kitchen Gadget Queen. I like that. I like that idea as well. Jared Pasianos. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And thank you. I appreciate you saying I'm the man. I tried. I had fun. Travel Laurel. Hey, Travel. How are you doing? Elisha. Andy W. And let's see. Nathan out here. Star. Hey, Star. How are you? And I think that's it. Judith Tucker. I didn't want to leave you out either, Judith. So we got a lot of folks out here. And Aaron Hunter as well. And if I missed any of the others, let me know. And I apologize. But yeah, I'm glad. I wasn't sure out here. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the 4th of July. So glad to have y'all with me. So we got to talk about Big Brother, right? I couldn't believe, was it Friday? Janelle had posted out there, I think on Thursday, and said, "Oh, we're going to get the cast reveal tomorrow." And I thought, all right, well, Friday, that's all right. That gives us a whole weekend to do all our detective digging skills and everything else and find out who these people are. Nah, it didn't happen. And I blame the Canadians. I think in honor of Canada Day is why they suspended the cast list until y'all got y'all's holiday out of the way. We got ours out of the way. Now they're going to drop it tomorrow instead. Yeah, whatever. I'm actually okay with it. Y'all know me. When I do my season, my overnight feeds, recaps, everything, I try so hard to keep it positive. Doesn't mean that I may kind of say, I wouldn't have done that, or I think you probably should have done that. But I try to keep it positive as far as the individuals instead, or at least the individuals themselves. But sometimes, y'all know social media, sometimes you give people enough time to dig. Who knows what people are going to come up with. 30 years ago, they skipped school more than one time. Y'all know how it is amazing. It's kind of scary how much information people can pull up from social media and background checks and everything else. Let me say this. When I tried out for Big Brother, it blows me away that there's anything that ever shows up that anyone is surprised at. Because when I tried out for that show, as part of it, y'all know they do all kinds of checks, medical checks, psychological checks, and it's still not figured out whether it's to see if you're sane or see if you're crazy enough to go on the show. But they do everything, including a background check. And it was very intensive. I could be working for the CIA, and I don't think they do a background check like they did for Big Brother. And yet things still sneak by. So, we only have one day to look into it this year. I don't think that's the reason that they dropped the cast list, or they'll be dropping the cast list so late, though. I think it's all about the COVID. Because wasn't it last year where Christine and there was someone else named Garrett? I never did hear his story, but we had a couple of people that were supposed to be on Big Brother last year that didn't make it on. And at least one of them was because she tested, allegedly tested positive for COVID. So I'm sure this season they just said, yeah, we're not saying a word until the day of or the day before. And then we'll put it out there. I'm sure they've already done all their interviews and everything, and all the media is just holding on to it to release it all tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm going to be watching Paramount Plus, waiting for those I assume that they're going to have actual interviews. Jeff Schroeder, I don't know if it'll be Jeff this year, who it may be, but I assume they'll have some kind of pregame interview as opposed. They may just release just the bios online or something. And if they do, that's not nearly as good. You don't get a feel for the person just reading those bios. And I'll say this, when I filled out, of course, mine was a little bit interesting or different. I didn't send in an application to try out for Big Brother. I showed up at a casting call. And so I didn't fill out an application or anything when I showed up. I just showed up and blah, 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 blah. I talked. And next thing I know, I'm being told, hey, come back out. We'd like to talk to you a little bit more and bring an application this time. So I brought the official application. I filled it out in a hurry, but I really treated the application as part of the tryout process. In other words, I wanted to make sure that I put down things that were silly or things that I thought would make me seem not controversial, but more interesting in terms of getting me further in the process. So my bio, because I talked about things on there, like I said, I love to talk politics all the time. I love to talk politics. Well, I'm not a dummy. I know better than to talk politics inside that house where you're immediately going to alienate one side or the other, no matter what you say you believe in. So there wasn't any way I was going to talk about it, but I mentioned it on my application just because I thought, wow, they're going to love it if they think I'm going to go in there hot and all of that. So there's things I put in my bio that, not that they weren't true, but just, playing the game a little bit. And so I don't ever trust those bios 100% when CBS releases them. I'd rather see the people actually talk in person, and then I can stereotype and make split-minute decisions on whether they're good or bad and everything else, of which at least half of them will prove me wrong, which I want to see. I always want to see that. So there you go. And it happens tomorrow. All right, David Buchanan. I missed you. Well, David, it wasn't intentional. Welcome, David. Thank you. Of all the people, I shouldn't say that. All of y'all. I'm happy to see all of y'all. But David, I would never intentionally skip over you. So thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. All right, Amanda Lowe. Just a couple more days. I know it. I spent all weekend thinking about the fact that, all right, 1 day until cast reveal, 2 days until they move into the house. Of course, it won't be till Wednesday night, which we moved in early because ours wasn't a live move-in. So we moved in. They'd already taken our watches, so I didn't know exactly when it was, but I think we moved in around 11:30 or so in the morning, my particular season. I'll tell you a little story about that in just a second. Let me see what else we got here. Moreland and Ma both asking, have they done a house tour yet? Not that I know of. If so, one of y'all tell me. But as far as I know, no house tour. Not really even talking about a theme. Oh, I've heard talk from different people saying it's going to be like a Coachella out in the desert kind of theme or something. I don't know. What does that mean? Bunch of influencers hanging around wearing sequins. I don't know. Whatever the theme, my season's gonna always be my favorite. Whatever new theme, it is what it is. I gotta say that when I was in that house, there's some seasons where everything is just so garish and either super bright colors or all silver and white and lit up everything. That would drive me crazy. I kind of like the calm. You need as much calm as you can get in a house. So I like my season that had a little bit more wood and dark colors and more relaxing type stuff. Some of those I feel like you're living in the middle of neon Las Vegas or something. Some of those color schemes I had, that would have been tough. But no, as far as I know, they haven't said anything about that yet. We've been a dearth of information so far this season. And I don't know. It's funny. They've talked about the challenge that's coming on after Big Brother. I feel like CBS has hyped that up a whole lot more than they have Big Brother. But maybe it's because they just knew us Big Brother fans, we'd wait. No, we're not going to not watch because we don't get cast reveals. So they figure, not that they take us for granted. They just know that they'll have us on the edge of our seats because of it. Chris is saying, my friend thinks it's going to be a duo season. A dud season? A duo season, sorry. Duo season because of the stage color. Maybe. I've tried to read everything into these little clues, and I just give up. However it works out, it works out. I did think, though, knowing that they're getting ready to move into the house, I'm not sure if I've ever talked about this on here. So I thought maybe tonight, quickly, I would just throw out there what my 24 hours were like before I moved into the Big Brother house, before the cameras actually turned on and we got into the house. I remember so distinctly. First of all, I remember, I guess they must have told us that what day our cast was going to be released. And I think ours was released on a Monday, and then we went into the house on a Tuesday. So we were only one day away from move-in when we went when they did our cast reveal, but they didn't do live feeds until a week later. So there was actually a week between the cast reveal and when they turned on the live feeds. But I do remember right before going into the house, knowing that, oh my gosh, they released the cast reveal. So by now, my family has seen my interview with Jeff Schroeder. All the people at work who were curious what in the heck I was doing, that I was asking for this sabbatical and I couldn't tell them anything. And, you know, I think that half the people probably thought I was going off to Tibet to become a monk or something. I don't know. But knowing that all my friends and family were going to be seeing this news and wondering who was going to be calling my wife, saying, oh my God, he had Cliff's on the show. I was kind of excited about that. But I also remember on that Monday night, knowing that I was getting ready to go in the house, and it was early. I think they told us that they were going to wake us up around 5 or 5:30 in the morning, super early. So they said, get your sleep, you know, because it's going to be an early morning and it's going to be a very long day and it's going to finish off, hopefully, inside the Big Brother house. Little did I know how hopefully I wanted that to be. But I remember taking a shower before I went to bed and thinking, oh my God, next time I shower, yeah, I'll get a quick one in the morning. But really, the next time I just get to sit in the shower and sing and all that, I'll be inside the Big Brother house. But I remember doing that. And then I got in bed and tried to sleep, but my mind was racing a million. Can you imagine? You're going into the house the next day. You're going to see Julie Chen. You're going to be on TV. A lot of your dreams, or you're going to get a chance to play the game. It's like a kid trying to go to sleep on Christmas Eve, knowing that Santa and the reindeer are just outside loading up the house with the gifts and all. That's what I felt like. I couldn't sleep at all. I remember just thinking, oh my God, please, I've got to be on top form tomorrow. So please go to sleep. Never could. finally, of course, I'd been sequestered for a long time. I'd been doing a lot of sleeping for the last week, trying to build up. Um, but I remember waking up the next morning, 5 or 5:30 in the morning, and getting my clothes ready that I was going to wear into the house. I was wearing something that I was just going to wear over to the studio, and then later I'd put on my outfit. And I remember them knocking on the door early in the morning, and the production had taken everyone's coffee orders. So if you want a coffee and a quick little breakfast, just let us know. Yeah, absolutely. So they came by with the coffee for me. They handed me mine, and I normally get either just straight American coffee or cappuccinos. Well, I'd ordered a cappuccino. I told them it's the biggest you got. Works for me. Instead, they brought over some kind of iced coffee or something. They handed it to me. I took it, and on the label, it didn't have my name. No, it said Nick instead. So yeah, at that point, I immediately like, ooh, I got a secret. Y'all screwed up. I know a little something. I know there's going to be a Nick in this house. And I hollered and say, look, y'all gave me the wrong one. Can you? Yeah, sorry about that, Cliff. Here you go. But yeah, I felt like I got one over them because I now knew that someone named Nick was going to be inside the house that particular season. But quick shower. I had my Big Brother bag all packed for the first couple of days I was in the house. I was good to go. I mean, it's really cool. So eventually the handlers came and got me, put me in a car, made sure I didn't see anyone else, that no one else saw me either. I remember driving to the Big Brother house. As we got closer, all of a sudden they said, okay, Cliff, I hate to do it to you, but you can't, no, we don't want anyone seeing you, and you can't see either. So you need to put a blindfold on. So they had a blindfold for me, but it's not just your standard old blindfold. It's a blindfold that then has a big curtain that hangs over the front, all black. Yeah, so truly, you can't see anything when you put this on. So I put this thing on. I felt like a hostage in some other country getting driven somewhere because I can't see a thing. I got this thing on me. But eventually the car gets into the studio. It comes to a stop, and I hear a voice say, okay, Cliff, we're here. We're in a little waiting area. You need to just follow, put your hands on the shoulder of this person that's going to lead you into where we're going. So they led me into kind of my waiting room there on the CBS lot. Don't know exactly where it was, but somewhere. And they got me inside, closed the door, and said, okay, Cliff, now you can open up take your blindfold off. So I did that. I was in a tiny little room. Picture maybe the size of the boat room in the Big Brother house my season, a little lounge room area. About that big. Had a couch, bathroom, closet, mirror, table. That was about it. And they told me, said, all right, you're going to be here for a while because there's a lot going on today. You're going to be here for a while. Here's a big old basket full of snacks, soft drinks, things like that. They brought me my breakfast. I think I'd already had the coffee. They brought the breakfast to me. The handler was in there with me the entire time. Keep me from escaping or something. I don't know what the purpose was there. Keep me from banging on the walls and talking to someone next door. I don't know, but had the handler there with me. And they said, just wait. We'll call you when you need me or when we need you. And I waited and I waited. And I was so, you can imagine the hype building up and building up. And again, they'd already taken my phone from a long time ago. They already taken the watch I had on. So I had no idea for certain what time it was. I just was trying to gauge it based on, what I could hear going on outside a window and things like that, traffic. But I think around 11 or so, something like that, guessing. They finally came in there, probably a little before that. So they said, all right, Cliff, you got like 30 minutes. So go ahead and get dressed in your entering the house clothing. And that clothing, we had to get everything approved. You showed them what you wanted to wear, and they'd say, yeah, that looks good, or no, that's going to mess up the cameras, wherever. So I already knew what I wanted to wear. They already knew and it approved what I wanted to wear. So I threw that on, and I'm just sitting there so nervous, so ready to go. They put the blindfold back on when it's time to go, lead me back out some hall, random hallway, don't know where it was. They tell me, say, all right, Cliff, we're going to put you on a golf cart. Just sit here. Don't say a word. Just sit here, and it's almost time. So they got me sitting there. And then after a second later, I heard them say, all right, we're going to put you in a golf cart right here in this seat. Don't say anything, but you're almost there. So I realized it was another contestant. And as this person sat down, I heard him say something like, okay, I'm good. It turns out it was Nick. Isn't that weird? I got his coffee and then he's sitting next to me. Nick next to me. So once it seemed kind of quiet, no one was really where we were sitting, I just under my breath said, this is going to be so much fun. And I heard Nick say, I know. And that was it. Because we didn't want to get in trouble for talking, but at least I felt like I'd made some tiny little contact with someone before I got in the house that maybe I could exploit just a little bit later, just by saying hello, just by that tiny little bit. Yeah, I was already playing the game. So the golf cart drives a little bit. All of a sudden they stop and they say, okay, we're here. You need to leave your blindfolds on, but we're going to take you inside and just wait a minute. So they lead us inside. They eventually say, okay, you can take your blindfolds off. I take my blindfold off. I'm in a hallway it's not in the Big Brother house. It's in like the stage studio area, but it's not in the house. It's just a little hallway that leads into the live studio audience part of that stage. And there were a bunch of people there. And they said, none of y'all talk. None of you can say a word while you're here. No one say a word. But, just get against this wall. Y'all are getting ready to go in just a second and just, do that. So, of course, we're immediately all looking at each other and smiling and happy. And remember, David and Christy and Nick and Jessica, I think Sis. I can't remember who my little group of 8 was, but us 8 that were part of the second group were all sitting there ready to go in. And I know Christy at one point got in trouble because she started crying. Just kind of tears of excitement, nervousness, or whatever. And she said something like, I'm so sorry, I'm already crying. And one of the people said, here, I've got a Kleenex for you, but don't talk. And Christy, oh, I'm sorry. No, Christy, don't talk. Oh, okay. Don't talk. So at that point, I at least heard her voice and said, I don't think she's from Texas. I think she's from some other. So I'm already trying to figure all this stuff up. And at that point, this light comes on or turns off. I don't remember. And they said, okay, go out there, get on the stage. And I remember walking out, and we still had live studio audiences then. So the audience is there, and I'm looking at all of them thinking, oh, man, I'm in the big leagues now. And as I walk up the stage, I look to my right, and there's Julie Chen, and she's looking at us and smiling. And that's maybe when it truly hit home that I think I'm actually maybe going to go in the house at this point in time. I think unless it's a hell of an Impractical Jokers type prank, I think I'm getting ready to play Big Brother. So we set up there, and at that point in time, I still didn't know whether I was the first group of 8 or the second group of 8. And I really, really wanted to be the first group because I was thinking, all right, if I get in there and there's only 7 other people, I'm going to try to immediately get some kind of alliance with at least some of those people and use that opportunity where there's a smaller group to try to form some kind of bonds with someone else. So I was thinking about that, but I was also thinking, all right, if I'm the first group of 8, I'm not walking through that door first because the person who walks through first never wins Big Brother. That's superstition. That hurt forever. So when they said, okay, you can go in the house, I made sure when I got over there that I just opened the door and held it open and let some of the ladies through first. Our season, I think Tommy was the first one through the house. He didn't win. Superstition came true once again. But as it turns out, I wasn't the first group of 8. I was the second group of 8 that went inside. So it didn't work out perfectly, but it still worked out fine. But I remember when I walked in there, I immediately looked to my right and left, and I was very disoriented. You watch it on TV, you see the same camera angles every season, and it seems to make sense. But for some reason, when I was looking to my right and seeing the living room, I felt like that was like the kitchen. And I don't know why I thought that. I think part of it was because our season, we had a ladder that went up into the loft upstairs. And I saw that ladder, and my first thought was, oh my God, they got rid of the circular staircase, and they expect me to climb up and down this ladder all day long, every day while I'm in this house. This is going to be miserable if they got rid of the staircase. That was one of my first thoughts. And then as I kind of looked around, I saw the kitchen behind me, and I saw the staircase around. I was like, no, I'm just kind of turned around a little bit. So I did that. And next thing you know, I'm hugging people, and I'm trying to remember names. And I'm thinking, God, there must be like 40 people in here because I just kept meeting new people over and over again and thinking there's zero chance that I'm going to be able to remember all these names. They're going to kick me out of the house just because old Cliff can't remember their name, and they're going to get offended because of that. It's amazing. After just a few days, you know their names like the back of your hands, right? Yeah. those names, last names, birthdays, everything. You quickly become a family in there. So there you go. That was the first day. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff that took place before we ever went in the house. Now, as I say, when we went in, 11:30, noon, something like that, because once we got in the house, we did just like you see on TV. Hi, my name's Cliff. Everyone walked around, did our little intros, and then Julie told us about this new camp director and banishment. So we had all that going on for a while. Then we got done with all of that. Then we had to do the vote for camp director. Then after doing all of that, and Mickey got picked, then he had to pick the 4 people to be banished, of which I was the first one picked by the old freaking squirrel. That was squirrel, right? Yeah, Benny the squirrel. And then I got led out of the house and had to wait to do the BB Forest, Dark Forest, and all that, get back in. So you can imagine, it was a long day by the time we finally got done with that particular. They were right, and that's why we start so early. So starting on Wednesday, these house guests, it'll be a little different. They'll I guess sleep a little bit later, get over to the studio mid-afternoon or so maybe, and then get to go in at night. And I don't know if it's going to make them more nervous or less nervous knowing that as soon as they get in the house, they're on TV and they're being seen by a nationwide audience, international audience. Because at least when I went in the house, someone had told us at one point, said, yeah, live feeds won't start for about a week. So y'all got some time to get to know each other, to learn about microphones on. None of that anymore. Now, I would have handled it just fine anyway. But I got to say, there's some people that didn't really, truly understand how the live feeds worked. And if they turned on the cameras as soon as we got in the house, Lord knows how much nudity and cursing and singing of songs and everything else y'all would have seen, because there were people that didn't have a clue. Had to be reminded a lot during the first week. So I'm sure a lot of that discussion's taking place now. So there you go. A little behind the scenes of what it's like as you get ready to go into the house to play Big Brother. All right, Bing Bong saying, people are talking about the way Julie is standing in that clue photo in the shape of a 2. All right, now I hadn't heard that, but I know they're talking about her looking up. Well, there's a couple of photos of her out there. I truly just think CBS and Our House Productions, Big Brother Productions, I think they're just playing games with us. I picture Julie just sitting there saying, what could I do just a little bit? I'm going to wear slightly different earrings, or I'm going to put a different color eyeshadow. I'm going to put a ponytail, something, just to see if I can tease people a little bit. Yeah, they're having fun with it. I thought about that last week when I was feeling sick and didn't think I could do the show. I thought, man, if I don't do the show tonight, and suddenly because y'all know me, I do the show every single Monday without fail. I'm like the mailman. Neither rain, nor snow, or sleet, or rain, or whatever. If I suddenly didn't show up right as people are getting sequestered, I thought, all right, that'd be kind of fun. I could probably get some rumors started pretty quickly if I just went black, dropped off the radar on all my social media and all that. But yeah, I wasn't going to do that to y'all guys. Maybe I should have after the way my voice worked, but I think a lot of people just have fun. And I know there's former cast members. I know there's some cast members from my season who are having fun, just getting a few extra clicks by telling, suggesting maybe they know more than they think they do. Nah, I don't know anything. If you're coming to me to get in for leaks on cast, it ain't happening here. We'll talk about it once they get in the house. But until then, I don't know probably anything more than y'all do, which makes it so much more exciting to watch it tomorrow. All right, Mark Taylor says, is the money they give out real money? It better be. if I was at a house, I win 500,000. It turns out it's monopoly money, or it's 500,000 in Russian rubles or something. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little chapped. Yeah, no, I assume it's real money. Now, if you mean, did they give you a briefcase with $500,000 or however much you end up with? No, it's done just like everything else. It's checks or direct deposits or something like that, because they got to make sure it's documented, because Lord knows the state of California and the United States of America want to make sure that they have documented how much money you got. So come April of the next year, the IRS can come calling and say, yeah, I think we need to have a little discussion as well. Who knows? Who knows? Someone who wins Survivor or who wins Big Brother, $500,000, $750,000, $1 million. It's a lot of money to be paying in taxes nowadays. be worth it. I think I'd pay the taxes, but yeah, no, it's real money. I mean, you can go spend it and everything. Some people spend it better than others do. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm older. I'm a little bit older than most people in the house, and I feel like I've had a lot of years to kind of handle money and do things and all that. A lot of people who've won Big Brother and Survivor for that point, but a lot of people who've won Big Brother aren't always the oldest people out there from an average age. They aren't always the people who have a lot of experience suddenly trying to handle $500,000, $1 million. And I feel like there's some people who handle that money well, and it sets them up for life and all that. Other people feel like they probably blow through it pretty quick and maybe don't always make the best choices, but who knows? It's a lot of money for someone that age. It's like a pro athlete suddenly signing, and yeah, you're in college, you're going down and you're getting your 29-cent ramen noodles one day, and the next day you got a check for $10 million sitting in your account. It's an incredible change in life, right? But yeah, money's real. As far as I know, it's real. I'd do it without the money. I would have done it strictly for the title. A lot of people wouldn't do that, though, and I get that. Ma's saying it feels weird watching BB21 clips because it's jarring knowing that's the same man I talk to every Monday. You know what, Ma? I feel the same way. I watch these clips and I read descriptions and live feeds. I still haven't watched my whole season, but I watch some of the clips that get posted out there and everything else. And there's times where it's really kind of a dual dichotomy kind of thing. I mean, I know exactly what was going on in my head and what I was thinking. For example, I just this week I saw the OTEV one where Kat and I are fighting over the rope and I slip and she's crying. And I'm like, oh, you got to go on. It's like a Hallmark moment. You got to go on, Kat, leave me. And I remember everything that was going on in my head at that time, but I'm also watching it as a viewer and I'm watching it as my family and friends and everything else. And yeah, there's some clips I watch where I almost don't even recognize me because I was so just straight in focused on what I was doing, like that battle back. I mean, there's some things when I won that battle back, there's some little things when I watch it, the way I'm smiling, the way I'm standing, that make me say, yeah, that's me. And I can tell exactly when I knew I was going to win it just because suddenly I relaxed. But yeah, I'm the same way, Ma. I watched Cliff Hogg, who played Big Brother on TV, and sometimes it doesn't seem like me. It's this person from a few years back that had just an incredible couple of months to go out there and just play and have a little fun. And that's what I was trying to do. Doesn't mean it wasn't stressful, but I was trying to have fun while I was out there. And I do see that show through most of the time on most of my clips. Not all of them. There were a few. I saw this morning. I saw a little bit of the leak where we are day 51 and we're arguing back and forth. Is it going to be Kat going home? Is it going to be Sam? And Julie's in the front saying, we don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening with the vote. And then later I found out there was a leak of some of the stuff. And I hadn't seen that particular little bit of clip of Julie in the front while we're in the back just yelling and screaming. I remember I was back in that boat room with all the arguing going on. And I just kept thinking, surely it's time for the show. Surely they're going to come have us sit down. And they didn't. It just kept going on and on with the arguing. And the whole time I'm sitting there saying, well, I know I'm safe because I'm not on the block. I'm going to be okay. But I don't want my name to come up and be accused of this or that. The longer they argue, the greater the chance that it somehow is going to get me drug in. So I was so anxious for the producers to say, all right, house guests, you need to come sit down. We're going to start the show. And they didn't do it. They just kept letting us argue. And that was incredible. That was an incredible night for being inside the house. And it was kind of cool when I got out finding how much people talked about it outside the house as well. Oh, what a crazy night. What an incredibly crazy night. All right, Aaron Hunter saying, I'm personally disappointed with the late cast reveal. I like to read the bios and determine who I think will be the funniest, smartest, athletic, and ultimately the winner. I get that. And you know what? There's a lot of people, and I've done it. It's been a few years since I've done it, but we've done BB fantasy leagues. My family did it for a year or two before I went in the house. We haven't done it since then. we didn't do it during my season, I'd be curious to see if my wife would have picked me or she would have picked someone else. But now for people doing the big BB fantasy leagues, and Rob has a podcast, does their cast preview. I mean, there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time talking about this cast ahead of time. And you're right, we're missing all of that, because if we don't get the cast reveal until tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of YouTube episodes dropping tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, quickly trying to talk about as much as they can about these house guests, which, all right, it's okay. But there's also the chance that you don't get the information is threshed out. You may have people making some claims. Oh, so-and-so got thrown in jail for rum running from Cuba or something. Well, maybe someone else that just has the same name. Yeah, it's hard. But the other thing is, it's probably not going to matter at this point in time, unless they come out and find out that the person is actually Charles Manson, who escaped and is posing as Big Brother player. Short of that, I think by tomorrow, they're going in the house no matter what. So, yes, I get it. It'd be fun if we had a lot more time. A weekend would have been great to talk about it, but that's all right. It makes tomorrow just that much more exciting. So we get tomorrow and we get Wednesday as well. I can live with it. I'm okay with it. Scott White saying, do you think they voted you out because of jealousy over your looks? Well, thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. In all seriousness, though, let me say this. I underestimated the threat level that people saw in me. I was in there trying to just play the nice guy who's trying to be friendly with everyone. And yeah, I won a few competitions, but I didn't feel like I'd won enough competitions that anyone thought of me as a comp beast. And I was still older than everyone else, so I didn't think anyone really thought of me as being so tight with anyone else, except maybe Nicole or something. But I didn't think anyone saw me as a danger of taking me basically to the end. Now, I knew that if I made it to the end, I was going to give one hell of a jury speech. And I thought I had better connections than most people thought, which would help me. I really thought if I made it to the final two, even if it was against Mickey, as big a comp beast as he was, I thought I had a chance to win against just almost anyone. Tommy probably worried me more than anyone else in that house in terms of who I did not want to go to a final two with. But again, I underestimated my own threat. I didn't realize until I've seen some of these clips and heard people talking and everything that there are a lot of people, Mickey and Holly and Tommy and Christy and a few others are saying, yeah, we can't let Cliff get to the end. He's got too many connections in the jury and all that. And, he's going to win. A lot more people were scared of me getting to the end than I thought. And that's unfortunate, because if I'd realized that I was considered that big a threat, it may have changed a little bit the way I played some of the end game, just because you got to think differently. If you think they're going to pick you over, Nicole or Tommy or Holly, whatever, it may have changed the way I played the game just a little bit. But you're going off the best information you can, and I'll take it as a compliment that they viewed me as a threat early on, because I wasn't seeing myself that way, but they were, and that's kind of cool. All right, Amanda's saying, I would be so uncomfortable if I had to share a bed with a complete stranger that first night. Yeah, tell me about it. Especially for me. Yeah, I'm older, and I tend to snore a little bit. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, short of, I don't know how you fix it. Go sleep standing up on a wall or something. I don't know. But I was worried that I was going to snore to the point of someone saying, man, boot him. I can't even sleep at night. And I do know that Nick, for example, at one point came out and talked to Sam and said, man, I may have to move out here with you because Cliff snores so loud or so much. And he's a snorer. I'm glad I didn't know that at the time, because it would have made me even that much more nervous. But yeah, little things like that. And you just don't know. When I came into the house, as I mentioned, I wasn't the first group of 8. I was the second group. And so I've watched Big Brother forever. So I know that as soon as you get in, you run around the house and you look at everything and you throw your bag on a bed. Because there have been seasons. What season was it? One of the earlier ones that I watched. They didn't have as many beds as they had people. So for the first week or so, someone had to sleep on the floor. I didn't want that to be me. So I quickly ran in, found one bed. I think it was in the target room, maybe the second bed over. There was only one bag there. So I threw another bag on that and thought, all right, well, at least I've got a bed. Well, then I came back later after meeting everyone, and then my bag was moved. It wasn't my bag. Christy's bag was there instead. I'm like, what in the hell's going on? Who moved my bag? So I started looking around. And I realized that mine was just one bed over. It was on the bed with Ovi. And Christy came in. She said, Cliff, I hope you don't mind, but I know you're married, and I figured you'd maybe feel okay if you slept with the guy versus next to a girl. I don't think there was a girl next to me who put the bed on the bag anyway. But whatever. I said, yeah, nah, I'm cool. So Christy switched the bags around, and it was fine because Ovi and I were, I like Ovi from the very start. The second I met him, I knew the two of us were going to be tight. So happy to share a bed with him. Maybe not quite so happy as we got into bed, and Ovi said, normally I sleep in the nude. I said, well, Ovi, there's nothing normal about tonight, and you ain't sleeping in the nude. I'm just putting it that way. Good decision to be had and all of us we're thankful for that particular evening. But poor Ovi, I'm worried about accidentally rolling over and finding out that he does indeed sleep in the nude, and he's probably sitting there worried that I'm going to snore so loud that I'll just rock him right out of the bed. It took some getting used to, and that's what was so funny when we started that season. 16 people in that house, or 50, I was going to say 15, but then David came back. We did have 16 there for a while. It's just a lot of people. There's no privacy anywhere. Every room's filled with people talking, thinking they're having private discussions. You can't have many private ones with that many folks. And then you get to the end of the season when there's just 4 of us in there, and you can be in a room and you can be there for 4 or 5 hours straight. No one will even walk in and see you. It's just such a weird contrast, early game versus the end game, and being in that house. At one point, you're trapped. You're just stifled. There are people everywhere. You think it's bad, 16 people sleeping in 8 beds. Try 16 people using the same restroom. Yeah. Thank you, Kat Dunn, for bringing the potpourri, or the poopery. That was a very, very smart idea. To start, and then at the end, you just feel so isolated. It's very weird. Very, very, very big contrast between the two. All right, Bing Bong asking, the Marianne Review did a video called "What If Every Season of Big Brother Didn't Have a Final Four Veto?" That'd be all right with me. And he talked about you having had a great chance of winning there. Yeah, no, trust me. I've gone through every kind of scenario, and the way Big Brother's set up right now, I almost feel like I was a king maker, a king killer at that point, in that I don't know by the time we got to the final 6 or so that I had a really strong chance, especially now that I know that a lot of people saw me as a threat. I almost feel like if I hadn't gone for Christy and Tommy at that double eviction, or Christy, if I'd gone for Mickey instead, then suddenly I'm just putting the title in Christy and Tommy's hands instead. And no matter what I did, I feel like I still probably go home at the final 4 the way I did. Trust me, I've walked through every single scenario more times than you can imagine. But yeah, that's an interesting question. If you got rid of the final 4 veto completely, and you had some other kind of twist, like Survivor, where you have a final 3, and you have some kind of fire-making challenge to figure out who the final 4 and 3, which one makes it, which one doesn't. If you did something like that instead of the veto, yeah, I think I stood a decent chance. That would have been a lot of fun. If I'd made it in front of the jury, I really think I had a good chance. But you got to make it there first. And I said a few times in the diary room, I got to win one more competition. Just one more competition is going to be what it takes to get me there. I didn't win it. So it is what it is. But yeah, if they didn't have the final 4 veto, if it'd been slightly different, I like my chances. And that's a cool feeling, knowing that I didn't win, but I came pretty damn close. Ma's saying, are you allowed to sleep on the couch when it's bedtime? No, that's one of the rules, Ma, is that you must sleep in the beds. And I don't know, they want to do that for drama or controversy, or I don't know. But yeah, there's no one that can go out and sleep on not only can you not go out and sleep on the couch, but you also can't sleep on the floor. They want everyone squeezed in. And maybe it's a matter too, they want the cameras trained at night. I don't know what all goes into it, but yeah, you can't do that. Now, there's nothing to say that you can't go sit out on a bed at 2 a.m. or whatever. And if you're sitting up and you occasionally close your eyes, maybe you can get away with it a little bit. But if you actually fall asleep, I have a feeling Big Brother will say, hey, Cliff, yeah, you got to go to bed if you're going to sleep. Yeah, that was one of the rules. You have to if you're going to sleep, it has to be in the bedrooms, and it can only be between the hours of 10 o'clock and whenever they wake you up in the morning. And that varies a little bit depending on whether you have a competition that day or a veto ceremony, things like that. Somewhere between 8 to 10 a.m. is when they'd wake us up. But yeah, you had to sleep in the beds. So yeah, you had to have a decent bed partner, I guess. Ovi and I got along well. I had no problems with it. My main deal was I would have felt incredibly uncomfortable if it worked out where I did have a woman next to me, just because I'm married, and it's not like with all the cameras on me, anything's going to be happening. But I still would have felt a little awkward. I liked the way it worked out. It was good. All right. What else? I can't believe it's already 7:48. Man, it's so quick. I remember 4th of July, because we're already in the house, my season. The 4th of July was the first of the 2 earthquakes that we had in the house. Now, first of all, 4th of July, they shut down the feeds for a little bit. And remember, Ovi and David had just come back in. So I was pretty happy. I mean, I was worried. There's 2 more people that I was going to have to compete with to try to survive in the house and all that. But at the same time, I was glad David got his chance to come back in the house. And Ovi, incredibly happy for him. And incredibly happy that we all got to celebrate 4th of July together. But I remember the day of 4th of July, pretty early in the morning, right after we'd woken up and everything, we had a pretty severe rumble. I think they said 6-point-something earthquake about 100 miles or so away. And most people were out in the backyard. Kat and I were in the hallway just outside the storage room talking a little strategy. And we felt it a little bit, but not as much as the people in the backyard. But we had that happen. And then the next day, we had an even stronger quake, or it felt stronger. And that was during dinner. We were all in the kitchen. I think I was doing dishes. All of a sudden, you get this going back and forth. And I remember going into the doorway that led to the backyard because a big old steel girder over the top. I thought, man, that's got to be as safe as any place in this studio, in this house. So I remember hanging out for that and waiting for it to. It's scary. I'm a Texas boy. I'm not used to a lot of earthquakes, but we did that. But yeah, they shut down actually 4th of July for a little while, cut the feeds out. I think they brought out a bunch of pizzas for us. And they had like vegetarian pizzas and all kinds of meat pizzas and all that. We didn't have a whole lot of really picky eaters my season. I know in these past seasons, like I know Brittany had a lot of dietary requirements and all of that last summer. We didn't really have that. Tommy was allergic to peanuts, so we had to be a little careful with that. Kimmy had told us she was allergic to apples, so we had to be a little careful about that. And I think Kat maybe liked gluten-free food a little bit. But anyway, but for the most part, they just brought out all the pizzas and everything. We had so much fun. We did that. They played a lot of music instead of just 3 songs to wake us up. Played a lot of music. I know I've said on here before, but that's when they played Bohemian Rhapsody. And 15 out of 16 house guests sung the entire song, and we were standing on the table singing and having a blast. Except for Nick, who somehow his cultural black hole blind spot had never heard of Bohemian Rhapsody, or at least that's what he said. And was saying, where in the world, how do y'all all know the words to this song? How do you not know them, Nick? Have you not watched Wayne's World? Even if you're not a big Queen fan, have you not watched Wayne's World? But yeah, but I remember that was a lot of fun because that house, by that second week, the stresses were starting to build up. I mean, I'd already been on the block once, and Ovi was gone, David was gone. It was getting very stressful. Kimmy, and Jessica were on the block. It was just nervous. And we got to shut down just for an hour or so. And I feel like everyone, maybe people were still conspiring and everything, but I feel like just for a little while we got to shut down and just celebrate the 4th and just have fun. At one point, the TV came on and we heard boom, boom, and fireworks going off. So we ran in to watch the fireworks. And we realized after about 3 or 4 minutes that these aren't live fireworks from New York or anywhere else. These are just some videotape they have of fireworks. They were just on a loop. Every 3 or 4 minutes, the same fireworks that play over and over again. I've had better 4th of Julys in terms of fireworks, but that certainly is the most unique 4th of July that I've ever had. I think tonight we may go see some fireworks when we get done. Will we go see fireworks? They're down at the ocean at Galveston. They've got not a fireworks display, but a drone display. So they're going to have 40,000 drones out there spelling stuff out. I'm worried about that with Big Brother. We've already had the wall yellers. We've had the people with the smoke signals on the planes and everything else. What are they going to do once the people get the 1,000 drones and can get there and very easily spell out messages up in the night sky. I'm worried these house guests before long. Well, I know what they'll do. They'll end up having to put some kind of a cover across that back roof or backyard so that you can't see up into the sky, so that you don't see the drones giving messages and all that. And that would be horrible, because then you're not going to get any breeze coming in. And I know there are a lot of times I just was so happy to be able to walk into the backyard at night, just look up and see the stars. For me, it was seeing the moon, because Sharon and I had already agreed, said, I'm going to see the moon. We used to do this when I'd travel. I'd be on the far side of the world and I'd look up and say, all right, I see the moon. It's the same moon that Sharon sees. It's just a way of connecting us. And so I would go out in the backyard and look up at the moon. I'd always sing the song, I see the moon sees me yellow. And it's funny, sometimes Big Brother would let me sing it, and sometimes they'd say, no, Cliff, no singing. I'd say, hey, it's not copyright or anything. Y'all are going to have to pay for trade or rights or whatever. And they'd still say no singing. So I don't know if it's when the cameras weren't on me that they'd let me sing, because they thought, well, whatever, we're not showing them anyway. Or maybe only when the cameras were on me once or twice singing it, they thought, well, we can get away with it. And then they tried to stop me the rest of the time. But if I couldn't go out in the backyard and see the stars, or during the day, just see the very tops of the trees, see the occasional bird fly by or squirrel up in a tree, that was my little connection to nature. But once you lose that, talking about cabin fever, I'd really feel that much more claustrophobic. So I hope they never have to do something like that. But I know it's only a matter of time before someone's got those drones flying overhead doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not giving anyone suggestions. Don't think I'm doing that. I'm just thinking ahead, because it's gonna come. We know it's gonna come. All right, Angie saying, anything you learned in the house that you now apply in real life? Yeah, the biggest thing I learned is just don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, so much stuff going on in there that was so stressful. I mean, but at the end of the day, it was a game. But it's just kind of a continuation of some of the other stuff I've learned through life. I mean, I lost a brother to a drunk driver when he's 34. And after that, I realized that there's really important things that you got to worry about. And then there's a whole lot of stuff that at the end of the day, you shouldn't sweat it too much. What's that saying? Don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 2, everything is small stuff. Something like that. But I kind of learned some of that while I was in the house as well, that, at the end I got out of there, and my entire everything for 3.5 months was focused on playing that game, winning the game, dealing with all these people and all that. And then I got out and slowly just got back to real life and was able to look back and say, yeah, stressful as that was, it was just a game. I was just there for entertainment of people watching on CBS and all that. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime type experience for me, but it was still just a game. And so in a lot of ways, I think I kind of look at that with life in general, that, if someone didn't hurt, if it isn't truly a big deal, then you just kind of let the other stuff go. And that comes in, Lord, you need to have that with social media, because there's a lot of folks out there that are ready to drag a whole lot of people down on social media. And maybe that's part of my learning lesson as well. It's just, what? Everyone has an opinion. Not everyone's going to have the correct opinion or be correct in what they say. It's all right. Water from the back. It's no big deal. And so I feel like in a lot of ways, I've learned to be just a little bit more laid back after having been in that house. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot more lessons to be learned. You're on TV 24/7. You learn a lot of stuff real quick on that. I also learned that when my wife says, Cliff, you're talking really loud, she may actually be right. I learned that while I was in the house. And believe me, it's not just sitting in the boat room drinking coffee where I sometimes get a little loud. I probably do that in restaurants, at dinner tables and all that. So maybe my wife's right on some of the things she talks to me about sometimes. So yeah, you learn all kinds of lessons while you're in the Big Brother house. All right. With that being said, 7:56. I knew this was going to happen. I knew once we start talking Big Brother, that was going to be it. So what else is going on? I was going to tell you some other things. I got to say this. I don't want to not mention this. I watched over the weekend my niece. I told y'all once before, she's a synchronized swimmer. Now they call it artistic swimming, which is the official title. But y'all know what I mean, synchronized swimming. She competed this weekend at the United States Junior Olympics competition in Gainesville, Florida. And she and her team went. And her team won 2 separate team competitions, came in first place with the best teams from around the United States. She competed in a duo artistic swimming. She had one other partner. That's usually what a duo is, right? She had one other partner that she swam with, did the synchro swimming as well, the artistic swimming. She came in second place in the nation for the 16 to 17 age bracket. So, yeah, I'm a pretty proud uncle. She did great. It's fantastic. I had a lot of fun watching her. I've now become an artistic swimming expert, just because, not because I'm actually a judge, but I've seen a few of them on TV now. So, yeah, congratulations to my niece. I'm incredibly proud of her. And I was going to tell y'all, but I don't have enough time, so we'll follow it up next week. I forget that. We're going to be talking a lot of Big Brother. I got caught up in the Marvel comic cinematic universe. I'd never seen any of the movies. So we started with movie number 1, which is Iron Man. We've gone through 5 or 6 movies. We'll talk about that another day. Heck, maybe I'll just do another YouTube video just on that, because I know we're going to be talking Big Brother for the next 3.5 months. And I'm so excited. Oh, it's the right time of the year, guys. So with that, I think I'm going to shut down. As I said before, I'm going to be doing the overnight feeds recaps. So every day in the morning, I'm going to watch overnight. I'll put out 15, 20 minutes, just a quick discussion about the most important things that happened overnight. I'm not going to cover everything. It'll just be the key points, so you can talk to all your friends around the water cooler or over the phone or whatever about it. But I'll try to do that every morning. I'm going to try to do every morning. We'll see. But I'm going to do that. So if you haven't already signed up, please do so. I'll still be doing the Monday night show. We'll still be doing Cliff Notes Live, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot of Big Brother. We may talk a little bit of challenge as well, but we'll be doing that. But I'll also be doing the overnight feeds recaps every morning. So again, if you haven't signed up for notifications, it may be an okay time to do so. It's going to be fun. We get cast reveal tomorrow. So happy for the people that get their chance to participate, to play the game. I'm excited. You know who else I'm excited for? I'm excited for the folks from Big Brother 23 who are going to get to watch a season now that they've been in the house, because it's a whole new experience. I already know Brittany and some of the others that were in the house are so excited, and I don't blame them. It's going to be fun. So guys, thank you. Y'all have a fantastic Monday evening, fantastic 4th. If you get a chance, go out there. Thumbs up are always appreciated. But more than that, I just appreciate y'all being out here to hang with me tonight. I'm glad my voice lasted for the entire hour. I guess that means I'm getting better, and just in the nick of time. Y'all have a fantastic 4th, guys. I'll be talking to y'all a lot over the next few months, and it's going to be a lot of fun. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Love my wife, love my kids, love the Big Brother fans of the world out there. Especially love you guys watching live and watching a replay both. You have a great one. Get your sleep now, because you may not be getting a lot of it going forward. Y'all have a great one, guys. I will talk to y'all maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Turn on those notifications. I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye.